fine, thank you.
Oh, great to see you, Sammie. Thank you
And
so
you.
much.
Thanks
Had a
for
bit.
having me.
Oh, it's lovely having you. Sorry, everyone. There was a bit of a quite a few technical hitches, but I think we're okay. And my hubby's standing here wondering whether I need various pieces of equipment. Thank you. Like extra USB things. Everything seemed to go wrong, but it's worth it because Sammie's so wonderful. And it's lovely to see Abby here as well. Yay! We are actually live. And hopefully you can hear me okay with my new microphone and everything's working, hopefully. Oh, so Sammie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I've been stressed out about all that stuff. But yeah, I'm fine, thank you. So it's so lovely to see you. So everyone, welcome to episode 3. This is the first live Thrive with Live podcast show. I seem to be slightly to one side, so I'll try and sort myself into the middle there. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about getting a whole week's worth of content from just going live once. It's really incredible what you can do, and Sammie's going to tell you all about that. She is the content queen. I've just named you that, Sammie.
Thank you. I'll take it.
She is absolutely amazing at creating beautiful but also very engaging posts. So you will love her. You'll love what she's going to tell you, and you'll love the freebie that she's going to give you as well. So let's just bring in some of the other comments. So hi there, nice to see you. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. And Abby says the audio is perfect. From Sammie. Sammie's is always perfect, and thank you, Abby. That mine's all right. Let's hope it stays like that. My hubby's given me enough extra equipment, but yeah, let's see what happens. Right, so without further ado, let's just bring the little introduction to the podcast on, and then I'm going to welcome Sammie to the actual podcast.
This is the Thrive with Live show, the podcast where you can learn to go live with poise, professionalism, and peace of mind. Live video is the best free tool to win clients and grow your income and authority. So, if you want to ditch the overwhelm and confusion to skyrocket your online success through the dynamism of live video, then you are in the right place. This podcast covers all aspects, from your mindset, voice, style, and personal branding to all the technology and tools you need to get started and grow with live video. And now, here is your host, Katy Simpson.
Great. So hello everybody in the podcast. This is episode 3 of the Thrive with Live show. This is a show that helps you look great, sound great, and feel fantastic on live video. And in today's show, I'm very excited that I'm joined by Sammie Byrne, who is the creative content coach. And she is going to show us some incredible things about repurposing your live video. So this show goes live every week on Facebook and YouTube, and the podcast goes out to all your favorite podcast places, and it's called the Thrive with Live show. So today's shout out goes to Ecamm Live. Ecamm Live is a fantastic platform. They're also a really great community on Facebook. They've got one of the largest tech communities there. You can ask anything, and they help you to go live with professionalism and lots of fun. For example, those clapping noises, cycle horn. You can do loads of things. You can bring these lovely overlays like we've got the pink and the names. You can do the sound effects, and you can bring comments onto the screen, so it makes your live video really engaging, look professional, look a bit different, and look really fun. So let me know where you're watching from. And without further ado, let's welcome Sammie. So welcome again, Sammie. Yay!
Hello. Thank you very much.
Oh, pleasure. So let us know a bit about you, Sammie, what you do, a little bit about your story and your why, why you came into this and what you love doing.
Okay, so I am a creative content coach, and I teach other business owners how to create content that gets their business noticed and remembered for the right reasons. I help people to create visual content is my favorite, really, but kind of all sorts of content that will engage your ideal customers and hopefully convert them into a sale. But standing out really is kind of what I love to talk about, standing out on social media so that you're kind of noticed for being a bit different, looking consistent, professional. That's really what I kind of do in a nutshell, I suppose. And this has all been a complete, I say it an accident, but it's kind of been a transition really as to how I've come about to do what I do now. I spent 10 years in direct sales. That was my first kind of taste of being self-employed. And then during that time, I had to come up with ways to market my business that were kind of different to what other people were doing. Because back when I started, which was in 2008, 2009, I was quite shy. And it was also kind of just before Facebook was really taking off. So it'd been around a couple of years, but not everybody was using it. And I wanted to run my business kind of through social media and not do all the things that I was being told I had to do by the people that I was kind of working with in the direct sales businesses. So very quickly, I turned to using social media and trying to figure out ways to get my business seen and get bookings for my business that didn't involve me having to knock on people's doors, call all my friends and family. That just kind of wasn't really my cup of tea. So I've always, right from the kind of word go of being self-employed, tried to think of things outside the box. And as I was creating marketing material for my own business, I was starting to be asked by other people in the same company as me if I could help them create things, or if I could do things for them, create posters for their events and things like that. And that kind of turned into eventually me running a graphic design business. I taught myself, and my husband helped me with some things because he was into graphic design as well, how to use things like Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. And I then started to kind of create logos for people, and that became bigger branding packages. And then eventually, when I got to the stage of not being able to kind of not keep up with demand, but I had a baby. It was very difficult for me to do kind of really detailed work that took a lot of concentration. I was finding myself struggling with the time aspect, and obviously you need to dedicate a lot of time to things that need to be kind of really accurate. I got into like teaching branding instead. So I started by running a branding boot camp and teaching people that were kind of previous customers of mine how to take their logo that they had and kind of use it all over social media, create their own marketing materials that looked consistent, on brand, and things like that. So it's really kind of evolved from me just starting playing around with graphics tools to being a graphic designer. And I, eventually had no more space to take on any more customers, to then transitioning into teaching it. And kind of that's where we are now. I have a podcast about content, which is called Love Your Content. I have a Facebook group about the same thing. I have a membership, which is called the Creative Content Academy. So kind of all those things now relate back to me talking about how to kind of do all this yourself. So if you're in a position where you can't afford to hire a designer, or you just like doing things yourself, hopefully with some of the tips that I give, you can create some things yourself. So that's really how it's all come about. I think. And
Sorry, I'll stop that
sorry.
clapping. Oh, yeah, that's so interesting, isn't it? That I started off with direct sales as well, and teaching singing and working for the police, and we all have this really interesting sort of jigsaw of really odd pieces, don't we,
Yeah.
that just sort of start linking together and things start coming together. So it's fascinating to hear your start and how those things all come together to make you who you are and make your teaching so unique and special. So it's a really wonderful story to hear. And Abby Cornell was saying that she started in direct sales too. So
Oh,
yeah, you don't know, do you, about some
no.
people? And often it is a bit of a like a board, or what would you say, a sort of bouncing board to greater or other things. Um, yeah, so that's so fascinating. And Sammie's podcast is really great, so I'd really encourage you to listen to that. She also has a really natural voice for podcasts. She's great to listen to, really easy to listen to. So I'd recommend you go there. So just chatting about content now. So many of us feel really overwhelmed. We have to try and keep visible on social media, and it becomes a bit of a toil for us. And what are we going to post today, and coming up with all these different things. And I know that you've got some great advice and great ways to do it, to ease that overwhelm, to make it more streamlined, and to focus it towards your offers as well, so that
Yeah.
there's a whole point to what you're doing. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. And I think that everybody gets overwhelmed with social media. I mean, I do as well. And particularly when you think about the last year, um, trying to juggle so many things and trying to kind of keep up with social media when there's so much else on your plate as well. So it can be really hard, and especially to kind of constantly think of new ideas. So what I would say is that the best thing that you can do is have a plan for your social media. And by that, I don't really mean that it needs to be a plan in terms of you've written out every post that you're going to post. You don't have to have it all scheduled. If you've ever listened to me talk about anything before, you'll know that I'm not the greatest at scheduling my content. It doesn't really work for me very well. But I do use it, to kind of remind myself of if I need to talk about something specific a week from now and I really don't want to forget about it, then I will schedule it. But what I mean by a plan is kind of having a purpose to what you're talking about. So coming up maybe at the beginning of a month with what your goals are for the month or what your focus is going to be, and using your content to support that. So whether that be launching a new product range, or if you're a course creator, you're going to be launching a course, a membership, anything like that, kind of having a bit of a runway so that you're talking about content that is relevant to what that final offer is going to be, and kind of moving people from one place to another in terms of maybe what that person needs to be aware of or understand. Maybe at the moment they believe one thing and you just kind of need to shift their perspective a little bit so that they believe something different, and that would put them in a position to buy your product, service, course, whatever it might be. So knowing what you want to focus on and then creating content around that is kind of one of the main tips. And I think also that people try too hard to think up new and interesting ideas all the time, which is kind of what brings me to what this is all about, is that you don't need to constantly be coming up with new content all the time. You need to get into the habit of using what you've already got, which saves you time, energy, stress less and everything like that. So you need to be getting as many miles out of the content that you've already created, really.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So put hashtag nugget if you got any nuggets from there, and tell us what was really stood out for you with what Sammie just said there. So hashtag nugget, and what was helpful for you, a golden nugget that you just got. That was brilliant, Sammie. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, we use the word repurposing. So how do you repurpose? So how would you, any tips of taking your live video and how could you use that for different posts?
Okay, yeah. So if you were thinking of a live video, what people tend to do is they'll do a video. So even let's just say this video here, if this was just a live video on Facebook, do the live. Once it's finished, they wait for some people to watch it on replay, and kind of that's that. They don't talk about it again, or they don't send it out to people that might be interested in that topic or anything like that. So repurposing can mean lots of kind of different things, but really it's that you want to either chop up the content into lots of little different kind of bits, or just keep using it again, like recycling it in the future. I likened it to something that I talked about in one of my videos, to like a roast dinner. If you've got leftovers, you wouldn't just throw them away. You'd kind of use them again, to make lots of other different things. So, like at Christmas, once people have eaten their roast turkey, it's used in so many different ways to make lots of different things. And that's what you need to kind of think about when you're approaching your content, is what else could this become? When you've got a live video, you can extract the audio, you can transcribe it, you can take screenshots from it, you can chop it up into smaller chunks so that you've got 15, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and use it on things like stories or Instagram Live, send it out to your email list, embed it into a blog post. There's just so many things that you can do. And I think the more creative you can be, those things are going to stand out more than just consistently, or not at all, just sharing the link to that live video. If you're just going to share it out to lots of groups and then again just leave it, you're relying on people wanting to watch a long video, and not everybody does. So you've got to think about the fact that different types of people will consume different types of content in different ways. Some people like to watch things, long videos. Some people like to watch things with the sound off, so they need subtitles. Some people like short things. So you've got to kind of think about all the different types of people, types of content, the different platforms. Each platform kind of lends itself to different styles of content. And then just try and get the most out of every piece of content that you create, because you've spent a lot of time, and effort putting into it. So like with this, you're using it on your podcast as well as it being a video, and I'm sure you are going to chop it up and do all sorts of different wonderful things with it as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Sammie. So that just started making my mind going round about the fact that we all learn in different ways, don't we? I can't remember all the different types. Isn't there a kinesthetic learning style, and there's audible and visual and touch, maybe? Smell?
Maybe.
You can't do smell, social media. But yeah, and I've noticed that quite a few TV shows, loads of the popular ones, they have tiny little clips that just pop up on YouTube and things, don't they? And you just get that little nugget, and that's brilliant. And then you might want to go and watch the whole show.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
I know that you do that with your podcast, which is a brilliant idea. It just gives people, they just need to take a few seconds to listen to that and get something from it, and then they might go and subscribe to your podcast or the
And when I'm doing that with the podcast, sorry, I try and choose a really random sentence that maybe might intrigue people, like the podcast episode that I've got out coming out tomorrow. I've got a clip which I'm going to use that talks about mini eggs, but the episode is about controversial content, so you wouldn't put mini eggs with that. So hopefully people will listen to that little clip and think, I need to go and listen to that. So I think you want to tease people to go and kind of read or listen or watch the whole thing, and that's kind of what it's about, really.
Yeah, that's a really good idea because that's intriguing and fun as well. That really does make you think, eh? I've got to check that out. Yeah, that's a great idea. So Abby here says that a nugget that she got from what you were saying was create content for people, being mindful of different types of learners. Yeah, I got that exact same thing too. Um, and yeah, what you said about making it engaging and different and a bit fun and interesting, and just ringing the changes as much as you can, ringing the visual changes and the sound if you've got sound. And yeah, I thought that was really, really helpful. So, and we've got another comment here. So, just finding Facebook hiding my content challenges right now. Yeah. So,
That's down to the type of content that you're putting out, obviously, because of the type of business. And Raven, you're in my Facebook group, so it's down to your type of business being a psychic Facebooker, kind of censoring stuff. So that is
okay.
difficult right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just keep touch with Sammie, I think, and she's on the ball over all these things. So yeah, great. So thank you for your comment. So just we were just going to talk about, is it easy to repurpose your live videos? Because it sounds a bit overwhelming. How are you going to set up your edit all your videos? And I know for me that can I love live video because you just do it. But editing, you think, oh gosh, there are all these people on YouTube and they're so clever with all the way that they edit things. Can you do it in an easy way, do you think?
Well, I would say that I'm no expert when it comes to video at all. So I'm glad that you are, Katy. People can get those tips from you. But video is not my favorite type of content to create. But so I'm always looking for the kind of easiest and simplest way to get that content out there. Apps on your phone, there'll be some paid, there'll be some free. Things like InShot are great to edit your videos with. I'm just going to check my phone. Sorry, there's one that I downloaded to do with subtitles, AutoCap. So you can change the shape of your video and add subtitles to it. So if you've got a video that you've recorded on your laptop, so it's landscape, you can obviously then, if you wanted to add that to Instagram stories, then it's not the right shape. So if you use something like this app, AutoCap, you can add that to a kind of tall, thin one, and then add subtitles and a title and things like that, so that it changes the shape of it to fit onto Instagram stories. There's lots and lots that you can do with Canva, that you can do with just a free Canva account. I love to talk about Canva. So many people use that now. But you can upload your video and you can just select like a clip of it. You can do the same thing with audio as well. You can just select like 10 seconds of it, and then you can drop that video into like a little frame on Canva, like an iPad or a computer screen frame. So it looks like kind of like a mock-up, and then it'll download as a video clip so that people can just press play and just see that little clip. So there's lots of things that you can do that are really easy. And even if this was kind of a bit beyond your technical skills at first, even if you just thought, okay, all I'm going to do is share the video link, but not just share it as a link, because then you've got the same looking content going out on every platform, or every time you share it, it looks the same, is creating a graphic like on Canva, even if it's just with the title, in just whatever your branding colors are, and you just put your logo at the bottom, the title of the video, make a graphic, and then make another couple that have the same title but just look different, maybe with a different photo as the background, different color font, something like that. So you've got a variety of different graphics to share with that same link, so that it doesn't just look like you're posting the same thing on every platform, if that makes sense. So I think it can be easy. It's simple. It can take a little bit, of getting used to, depending on what apps, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and a number of those apps are free, aren't they? And the Canva ideas that you had as well were fantastic. I think that's just amazing what it can do now. So clever. Yeah, so you can have a free account on there as well, so you don't have to pay a lot of money for things. So it's getting into a workflow. It's getting to sometimes trying new things, new apps, new technologies can be a pain in the neck for a while, can't they?
Yeah.
Some are easier than others. But once you've got into that flow, and you can just do that each week. And as Sammie said, you can create tons of stuff and it all looks exciting and interesting. So we've got Tracy joining us now. Hi, Tracy. Lovely to see you. Thank you, Abby, for connecting Tracy with this content. So, Tracy, if you've just come, you will love this. So do re-watch it. Go back to the beginning, and there's loads that Sammie has, loads of information that she's given us. So, Sammie, tell us a bit more about what you do. You've got a membership and different things, and how we can connect with you, how we can find out more.
Okay, yeah, so I do have a membership, the Creative Content Academy. It's going to be opening up again within the next couple of months. But at the moment, in terms of the content that I put out every week, I obviously have the podcast. So that's called the Love Your Content podcast. And then I have a Facebook group of the same name, Love Your Content. And really, I just give, kind of tips and support in there of doing things like creating graphics on Canva. And then I'm also on Instagram where I give some tips as well. So the best Instagram to follow me on is at Hey Sammie B. So SAMMIE letter B at Hey Sammie B. Or on my website, sammieb.co.uk. And I have, as Katy mentioned earlier, put together a freebie that you can go and download on my website. So sammieb.co.uk/video. And I've put together a guide to kind of some ways that you can create a live video and then create lots of different things from it. It's quite just a brief kind of overview and giving you some ideas of what you might be able to do with that.
Fantastic. Yeah, do go and follow Sammie. That's brilliant. So, Sammie, thank you so much. Loads of things there. So, just a little fun ending. We're going to do a little lightning round, a few funny little questions to ask Sammie and see how many she can answer in 1 minute. So, I'm going to bring the countdown on, and this is just for laughs. So, join us.
It's not a test, is it?
Not at all. No. So if somebody can count how many Sammie's answering within this time, I'd be really grateful. Okay, so some fun little questions. Sammie, ready, steady, go. So here's the countdown. Texting or talking?
Texting.
Your favourite day of the week?
Mondays.
Favourite city beside the one that you live in? I'm not sure you live in a city.
New York.
Oh, lovely. Nickname your parents used to call you?
Sammie Jammy.
Oh, the last song you downloaded?
Oh, last song I downloaded. Oh God, I've gone completely blank. I'm gonna have to check. Can we come back to that one? Pass.
Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Animals.
Favourite holiday?
Apart from New York, because I've already mentioned that. Barcelona.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
Are we asking me or asking my husband? I'm an excellent driver.
You are.
10.
Oh, great. Yay. Right, so that's your lightning round done. So thank you very much for doing that, Sammie. And if anyone remembers how many questions she answered, I'll be really grateful.
You stumped me on the music one. Stumped.
So I think Abby was taking note. So that was brilliant. So thank you all for listening and watching. And if you haven't checked out the podcast, just go to katysimpson.live/podcast and you'll find it there. So until next time, I encourage you to count your blessings, embrace your uniqueness on going live. So here we go for the outro. So thank you so much, Sammie.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Thrive with Life show. If you love this podcast, do subscribe, share it with friends, and join Katy's supportive Facebook community, the Live Video Success Hub for Ladypreneurs. And let's make your video confidence and impact soar. Until next time, remember to count your blessings.